President Obama is calling for prison reform, saying ex-cons need better opportunities for better jobs. He toured Newark, New Jersey earlier this week to make the case. Fred Davey is from the Union Theological Seminary and is a prison reform expert. We have spoken with him before on this and other prison-related issues. Welcome back to Arise Exchange. There's various different modules of prison reform that we've heard the president speak about, as well as some in the Republican Party as well. And I'm just wondering, because a lot of it has to do with why we incarcerate people. In this case, this was talking about what to do with people as they come out of prison and how to prepare them. What did the president propose?
Well, I think there were three things the president talked about. One was a set of grants that would help people with things like housing when they come out, education, employment, etc. He talked about banning the box for certain federal jobs right away. And
what is banning the box?
So banning the box is to not require men and women who are applying for jobs to check that they have been convicted of a crime. That would come later in the process because right now when people check that box, it becomes in many cases an automatic disqualifier.
And is this just for federal jobs, or is there?
He can only do it, as I understand it, for federal jobs. So it's jobs, within the federal.
What is the range from one state to another, maybe even from one county and city to another, to the programs to take inmates who may only be in prison for a short time to a slightly longer time and prepare them for the outside world?
Well, it's a vast, I think, difference across states and municipalities. What I would say is that what all, I think, states and municipalities and the federal government could do relatively quickly and easily is to contract with community-based and faith-based organizations to be there to receive those men and women when they come out of prison, or even before they come out of prison, and then provide them with a certain set of interventions that may help them keep from going back, such as they need case management, because a lot of these people come out, they have tons of problems. Many of the men have child arrears problems they have to meet. People come out, believe it or not, with substance abuse problems still intact. So you need case managers who can help them and stay with them, sort of make their way through the thicket of things they have to encounter once they get out. They could also help them get attached to the labor market. Once they get that first job, they're going to need the second and third job. So you need these organizations that are on the ground. They're there. The state governments and municipalities and the federal government just need to contract with them. But they're on the ground so they can help these people get jobs and stay in the labor market. And then you need to surround them with a set of responsible adults. We take for granted that we're going to have a network of people who are going to be very positive in our lives. These men and women can't take that for granted. So you need to provide for what we call credible messengers or responsible adults who will work with them on a consistent basis to get their lives back on track.
The president, and you mentioned this in your notes, has the bully pulpit to talk about this, but prison outside of the federal system is really largely run on the local state level. What partners does he have on the state programs, and is there money to do this? It is very hard to convince the taxpayer base to pay more money for prisoners because they don't see the connection to reducing crime and employment.
Well, I think what's happening is that everybody's seeing the connection between tax dollars going to prisons, sort of dead-end money, and the need to come up with alternatives for people, both to keep them out of prison, but once they go, to make sure that they don't go back. I think the country spends something like $50 billion a year on the penal system.
And it goes together, right? If you say, okay, we're going to reduce the amount of people we incarcerate on nonviolent crimes, right. And someone like Rand Paul and Cory Booker getting together to talk about that a little bit. If we reduce that, then we save a little bit money, and then we can put the money here.
Right. We could do any number of things, but even more than that, we get human beings back into a productive mode that can only help the society and the economy. It does us no good to have people languishing in prison who shouldn't be there, pumping a bunch of money into prisons that's having no really positive return on that investment. The best way to get a return on that investment is to invest in people after they come out, stay with them for a period of time, and try to help them get back on track.
What was this fight between Chris Christie, the governor of New Jersey,
and
the president over this?
Beyond politics?
Yeah,
I don't think there was anything else. I mean, what else could it have been? The president had a very positive announcement. money to help states and localities and others with people returning from prison, banning the box that people have to check on applications, and then encouraging all of us to pay attention to the reentry of people coming out of these
Finally,
facilities.
the president does have control over the federal prison system.
Right.
What can he do immediately to help this along?
Well, he's done it, right? So he's looked at those people who have been affected by the changes in the sentencing guidelines, and he said, you served your time under these new guidelines, so 6,000 people, you can get out sooner than you thought.
And restore
You should do
people's
more of that.
and restore people's voting rights, right? You can make them feel like they have
Make them
a say
full
in the
citizens,
government.
and maybe they'll act like full
Okay.
citizens.
Fred Davey, as always, thank you.
Thank you.
Coming up next, how to do Norway on a budget. Stay with us.